conceived the issues of the trade treaty between Nigeria and the United States, authorizing the court to grant an extradition request, and claimed to neither have any business or romantic relationship with anyone in the U.S., nor did he commit any offense either in Nigeria or in the U.S. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has approved the minor cabinet reshuffle. This is coming after the governor had a few days ago issued a statement for the approval of the nomination of Oba Olulabi Olakunkwende as 43rd Olubadan of Ibadan land, after some prominent Ibadan indigents have waded into the issues. Makinde, in a statement by the Special Advisor on Media, Suleiman Olarenwaju in Ibadan, the capital, said the reshuffle saw the former Commissioner for Trade, Industry, Investment and Cooperatives, Ademola Ojo, move to the Ministry of the Local Government and Chieftaincies Matters, while Ojo is a former chairman of the Association of the Local Government of Nigeria in the state chapter. Shegun Olayiwola, who until the reshuffling as manning the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincies Matters, has been moved to the Ministry of Establishment and Training, and there is while Commissioner of Establishment and Training. Adeyeye Adebisi will move to the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Investment and Cooperatives. The statement also said the reshuffling is with immediate effect. Former Deputy Governor in Ondo State, Abola Ajayi, the camp of Governor Loki Aiyedatiwa, are training words over last week's court judgment scrapping 33 local government development areas created by the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu in September 2023. Ajayi, who discloses at the residence in Akure, said Aiyedatiwa mishandled the issues as he should have specified plaintiffs and not allowed the matter to get to the court. Ajayi, who will be facing Aiyedatiwa on the platform of the People's Democratic Party in the November 16 governorship election in Ondo State, said that he was more experienced in the local government matters and would have handled the matter better than Aiyedatiwa did. But in a swift response, the Loki Aiyedatiwa campaign organization Foot Soldiers Independent Council said the statement by Ajayi was an insult to the governor Aiyedatiwa and the judiciary, saying they needed to apologize to both parties. In a judgment last week, Justice A.O. Adabusuye of the Ondo State High Court in Akure faulted the process by which Akeredolu created the 33 local government development areas, adding that the LG Creation Law 2023, which bettered the 33 LCDS, stood nullified because Akeredolu signed the law in Ibadan, Oyo State, and not the soil of Ondo State. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun has been elected the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum. His Anambra State counterpart, Professor Charles Soludo, emerged as the vice chairman of the forum. The Southern Governors Forum serves as the umbrella body for the 17 governors from the South, West, South, and Southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria, and Abiodun succeeded the former governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, who died in December last year. The governor held a closed-door meeting which lasted about 5 hours at the Presidential Lodge Abeokuta, while Abiodun described his choice as the next chairman of the forum alongside Professor Soludo as an honor he would forever appreciate. This is Transition on Atlantic Television Network, written after the short break. Welcome back. This is Transition on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. Kogi State government says it has taken steps to mitigate sexual exploitation, abuse, harassment, and all forms of gender-based violence across the state. Speaking at the Stakeholders Engagement Workshop on Sexual Exploitation and Abuse and Gender-Based Violence, organized by the Nigerian COVID-19 Preparedness and Response Project for the members of the Kogi State Technical Working Groups on GBV, the Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, Kogi State Ministry of Women Affairs and Special Development, Ina Susani Isaac, said sexual exploitation, abuse and harassment and pervasive issues that affect individuals across all communities, including Kogi State. He also says sexual exploitation, abuse and harassment in all of its forms has tremendous physical, emotional and social consequences for its victims, who are often referred to as survivors. He opined that survivors of gender-based violence have the right to receive quality compensate card and support that address the harmful consequences of violence in order to help them heal and recover. In view of just concluded workshop training by the Federal Road Safety Corps for proprietor of driving schools in Nasarawa State, analysts has urged trainers to ensure professionalism in driving schools across this country. Speaking on Atlantic Society Watch, a public affairs analyst Godson Kelechi said professional driving school in the country will reduce the increasing rate of road accidents.
By the Federal Road Safety Commission is a very good thing. That encouraging the proprietors of this driving school to be very, very cautious about the trainings they give to their trainees or students. Now, it is important also that adequate training is given both on the road signs, both on the road rules and regulations, traffic rules and regulations that are necessary for this.
Meanwhile, Godson Wogo decried this appointment at the poor standard of driving education by the citizens and other road users.
Did they ever attend driving schools? Were they ever trained? Or they just took the car and then start plying the road? Because many of them do not observe the road signs. Many of them do not really take cognizance of the traffic laws. They do not understand how these vehicles are, driven. And you can imagine that. One common thing.
This is coming after the Nasarawa State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps warned proprietors of driving schools across the 13 local government area of the state against sharp practices. Members of the Nigerian Labour Congress National Transition Committee on Tuesday stormed the headquarters of the Labour Party in Abuja, demanding the immediate resignation of the national chairman, Julius Abure. The acting chairman of the Transition Committee, Abdulwahid Omar, led members of the labor union to the secretariat, chanting solidarity songs as calling for the resignation of Abure on the ground that his tenure as the chairman of the party has expired. National Chairman Julius Abure is yet to speak on the matter. Suspected armed bandits in the early hour of Tuesday attacked a mosque in a community in Zamfara State, killing 2 worshippers. Eyewitness who narrated the incident to newsmen said the bandits stormed the Tanzame community in the Bangudu local government area of the state when they were preparing for early morning prayers. And the bandits entered the area, killed 2 people, Mozani, the person that called prayers, and his younger brother. Confirming the incident, the spokesperson for the Zamfara State Police Command, ASP Yazid Abubakar, said 2 persons were killed while some persons were kidnapped, adding that the command has deployed more officers to the area to restore menace and ensure the rescue of the kidnapped victims. Police in Benue State has rescued 9 persons who were abducted from a vehicle while traveling along the Ojono-Ogewu Road near Otuokpa local government area of the state. The incidents occurred on June 13, 2024, when gunmen ambushed Benue-Link vehicles carrying passengers from Onitsha to Maiduguri. According to the statement by the SP Catherine Anene, the police public relations officer for the Benue State Command, the assassins emerged from the nearby forest, shooting sporadically at the vehicles and forced it to a stop. The driver was killed in the process while sustaining fatal gunshot injury, while the passengers were taken hostage. And then they confirmed that the police responded promptly to the incident, rescuing 9 kidnapped victims and apprehended some of the kidnappers involved. Kano State Judicial Service Commission has imposed disciplinary action against 3 magistrates and a senior court registrar in the state. A statement by a spokesperson for the Kaduna State Judiciary, Baba Ibrahim, identified the sanctioned magistrate as Talutu Makama Rabi Abduladik and Tijani Minibiri, and also sanctioned the Senior Registrar of Appeal Court, Kano High Court, Abdul Nasir. According to the statement, the Commission reached the decision during its June 11, 2024 meeting, where it adopted the Judiciary Public Complaints Committee's report on the magistrate. She also has been instructed to cease all duties as Magistrate Court number 48 effective immediately, adding that the JSC considered the investigation report on the alleged misconduct of the Nasir of the Appeals Department of the High Court. The report confirmed that Nasir received payment of fees meant for court record into its account, which constitutes serious consequences, and issued a strong warning to Nasir and defer his promotion for 1 year. Boko Haram suspects have allegedly kidnapped a judge of the Borno State High Court, Justice Hosanna Mashilia, at Ijajiba town along Biu-Maduguri Road in Borno State. The judge working at the Borno State High Court in Maduguri was adopted alongside his wife, driver, and orderly who were together in the same vehicles when the incident occurred. He said the vehicle was stopped by a team of insurgents on the road, which took them hostage and whisked them into the Sambisa forest. The State Police Command, speaking through a spokesperson, Nahun Daso, who confirmed the adoption, said the investigation had commenced to track the terrorists and ensure a safety release of this judge and other hostage. President Bola Tinubu says the insecurity in the northwest region is affecting other parts of the country. Tinubu stated this in Castina at the 2-day summit theme Regional Cooperation for Securing Lives and Livelihoods in Northwest Nigeria, organized by the Northwest Governors Forum in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program. The president, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, said the security issues in the Northwest was not a sectional matter, adding whenever any part of the country was allying, others would be affected. He assured Nigerians that his administration would not rest on its oar until banditry, terrorism, and other forms of insecurity were eliminated. Boko Haram, the described Islamic sect, has wreaked havoc in the northwest for over a decade, leading to thousands of deaths and the displacement of millions, including bombing, kidnappings, and guerrilla warfare, as well as the targeting both civilians and military installations, stressing that banditry has emerged as another significant security threat, particularly in the northwestern states, where unidentified gunmen carried out mass adoption, village raid, and cattle rustling, as well as creating a state of lawlessness and insecurity. Senate's President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has dismissed the report that the 10th Senate is proposing that the federal government secure a new aircraft for the president Bola Tinubu and his Vice Senator Kashim Shettima. Akpabio, in a statement by his media head Jackson Odom, was quoted to have made this known while speaking to newsmen in Maiduguri shortly after leading a delegation to pay a condolence visit to Senator Tai Mongono over the death of his father. This is coming after last week reports filed in the media that the Senate president commented that the Senate would approve the purchase of new aircraft for the president and the vice president, irrespective of the fact that Nigerians are hungry. The Senate president said the report was from propagandists and feed economists, stressing that the Senate was focused on delivering legislation supporting the actualization of President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and expressed satisfaction with the present security situation of Borno State and urged Nigerians to continue to pray for the present administration. Report says officer of the Nigerian Customs Service has been reportedly dead while making an appearance before a committee of the House of Representatives. The officer died while appearing before the House Committee on Public Accounts and developed some health complication during the encounter. Akin Rotimi, the spokesperson of the House, confirmed the date of the officer but declined to reveal the name in respect to the families of the officer. As in view of the move to reposition the polytechnic sector for greater efficiency, the National Board for Technical Education has declared new scheme of service as approved by the federal government for Nigerian polytechnics effective from June 7, 2024. The NBTC is mandated to regulate and oversee educational programs offered by technical institutions at the secondary, polytechnic and monotechnic levels through an accreditation process in Nigeria. This is coming after the federal government, through the head of civil service of the Federation, Dr. Fasode Yemi Esan, said the schemes of service for polytechnics in Nigeria will soon be made available. The executive secretary of the NBTE, Professor Idris Bogaje, at the formal presentation of the new scheme of service recently in Kaduna, said the new scheme of service is a nullified approach to the recruitment and promotion of staff across federal, state, and private polytechnics in Nigeria. He also said henceforth higher national diploma holders with good grades would now be employed as academic staff to lecture in polytechnics like their degree-holding counterparts. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, alongside Vice Chancellor of Universities, Rectors of Polytechnics, and Provosts of College of Education, among other stakeholders in the education sector, will meet on July 18, 2024 to decide the cut-off or minimum benchmark for admission. This is coming after JAM on April 29, 2024, released the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Education results, and out of the 1,904,189 who sat the exam, 8,401 scored 300, and above 77,070 scored 250, and above 439,974 scored 200, and above with 1,402,490 scoring below 200 pass mark. The meeting scheduled for July 18 will be chaired by the Minister of Education, Professor Ta Maman, in Abuja. The meeting this year will determine the admission requirements that will kickstart the admission process for the current year. Management of Nigerian Education Loan Fund on Tuesday declared a 14 days postponement of the application process for students' loan for state institutions due to low data submissions. The statement by NEL Fund said the decision was necessitated by the failure of several state-owned institutions to uphold the required student data and fee information to the NEL Fund student verification system, adding that only a limited number of state-owned institutions have successfully completed the data submission process, which includes 20 state universities out of 48, 12 state colleges colleges out of 54 and 2 state polytechnic out of 49 in view of the acknowledgement of effort of the institutions. The failure to submit data from the remaining state institutions pose significant challenges to ensuring a seamless and accurate verification process for students' loan application, adding that the application window initially set to open on June 25, 2024 will now commence on July 10, 2024. The fund said the extension will provide additional time for state institutions to comply with the data submission requirements and ensure the students can benefit from the federal government students loan scheme, and will facilitate an efficient, error-free application process, stressing that it is crucial that all the state institutions provide complete and accurate information. It also says students should send their JAM numbers, matriculation numbers, admission numbers, full name, level, facilities, and departments during a program fee and gender of all eligible students, adding that incomplete or incorrect data submission will result in application delay and potential disqualification for affecting students, and urge all the state institutions to expedite their data submission processes and ensure the accuracy of the information provided. Nigeria Center for Disease Control has activated its National Cholera Emergency Operations Center in response to the cholera outbreak that has claimed 53 lives across 31 states. According to the emergency shared on its official X platform said, 24 June 2024, a total of the 1,528 suspected cases and 53 deaths have been recorded across 31 states. As of June 2024, a total of 1,528 suspected cases have been reported following a dynamic risk assessment of the cholera epidemic molecology situation, which placed the countries at the very high risk of increasing cholera transmission. The NCDC took its steps to coordinate the response to the outbreak, while in Ogun, 1 person has died and 25 cases have been confirmed out of the 35 suspected cases. The state government has distributed cholera test kits and treatment materials to all local government areas and designated treatment centers, and said treatment is free in all government facilities. Analysts have expressed disappointment that no current active economic project can be measured to the huge amount of funds being channeled for the development of the Niger Delta region. Speaking on Atlantic television blowout, a socio-political analyst, Magnus Uedo, said harmonizing state policies with NDDC seems unrealistic.
All the money that is coming into this Niger Delta state cannot be measurable with what we are seeing on ground. So the base commissions, for me, is a multiplicity of purpose with the NDDC, because the NDDC is already there. And then if they are coming to tell us their policies, the harmonized policies of state, I don't think that is possible, because the topography of each state is not the same. Right? For instance, you're talking about Bayelsa State.
In view of regional development, Magnus Uedo stressed on the need for an implementation of previous policies by the NDDC.
In Niger Delta, being set out by the NDDC, are they implementing all this developmental roadmap that we have over the years? What have they done? Because we don't have what I think we don't have continuity in governance in this part of this country. Each government comes with their own different policies, and this is what they are wasting our resources. You see abandon of road and project in all these states. I think these are areas they need to talk about. How can we, if we have...
This is coming as a state in the Niger Delta region under the aegis of Economic Council of the Brassard Commission has agreed to foster a framework for economic integration and development in the South-South region. Federal High Court in Lagos on Tuesday struck out a charges against celebrity banter Pascal Okechukwu, popularly known as Cubana Chief Priest, over alleged abuse of the naira. Justice Kainde Ogundare struck out the charge following the adoption of theme of settlement between parties to the suit. This is coming after the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had on April 17 arraigned Okechukwu on the 3-count charges of allegedly spraying and stamping with a Naira note during a social event at Eco Hotel in Lagos, and had pleaded not guilty to the charges and was granted bail in the sum of 10 million Naira at the last adjournment date on May 2nd. The defense counsel, Chiko Osulu Ojoku, informed the court, adding that the parties were exploring settlement and had appealed that the matter be settled pursuant to the provision of Section 14, subsection 2 of the EFCC Act. Following the position, he appealed for a withdrawal of the parliamentary objection filed by the defendant, and since there was no objection from the prosecution, the court granted the same, and the court consequently adjourned the case until June 5 for a report of settlement. On June 5, the case could not go on following the absence of the defense counsels who had reportedly written to the court praying for an adjournment. While the court has adjourned the courts until June 25 for the report of settlement. Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja has adjourned until October 22nd the trial of the suspended governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwill Emefiele, over alleged procurement fund fraud. Emefiele is charged with an alleged 20-count amended charge preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and was alleged to have engaged in criminal breach of trust, forgery, conspiracy to obtain by false pretense, and obtaining money by false pretense when he served as the APEC Bank's boss. Specifically, the EFCC alleged that the former CBN boss forged a document titled Re-Presidential Directives on Foreign Election Observers Mission and have eliminated from the office of the Secretary to the government of the Federation. The GF Justice Hamza Muzu adjourned until October 21 after hearing from the testimony of a 9th prosecution witness, and adjourned until July 8 for hearing of Emefiele's applications seeking for the release of his passport to enable him to attend to medical appointments. And now to business reports. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says he needs more time to consult widely on the appropriate amount to be paid as new minimum wage for workers in the public sector. The president gave the explanation at the Federal Executive Council meeting on Tuesday when the matter was put forward for deliberations. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, who disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents, said the memo was stepped down because the federal government thought it wise to consult with other stakeholders, especially as the new minimum wage proposal affects the local government council, state, and the federal government. This is coming after a tripartite committee comprises the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, the organized private sector, and the government representatives discussed on the new minimum wage and forwarded the reports to the President Bola Tinubu for approval. Analysts say the current increase in rate of corruption has eaten deep into the fabrics of the nation's economy. Speaking on Atlantic Television, the political analyst John Idumange expressed his view.
Government itself supports corruption. As you are just driving out, you see a policeman who stops you. Ordinarily, policemen now do the work of road safety. And road safety now do the work of policemen. So a policeman stops you and demands for one or two, he begins to find fault. And the next thing he do is, because it has become a way of life, the driver will not even bother to bring out the papers. He will reach for his pocket, as master take now for pure water. Corruption. Now, beyond that, go to the universities. Great racketeering going on. So many students no longer write their projects. True. Yes. Some people.
In view of educational decadence, John Idema decries attention